What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 to the haircut that you saw earlier. If you haven't seen it, make sure to hit the link above and you go and check that out. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and start with 2 guard and go in with the grain just to take away some of that weight on the side. Then we're going to go and flip it over and go against the grain from below his ear up, and then we're going to move on to the 1 guard from open to close, slowly removing and fading out that line. Then we're going to go on to our 0 guard, open to close, and then after that we're going to go ahead and no guard on there from open to close. And after that you can go ahead and go back through your steps to double check, make sure you have a smooth transition from the beard to the hair. After that we're going to go ahead and take our gamma trimmers and we're going to go and line up that neckline as natural as possible. I usually go from the very top to see where it's the fullest, and I'll bring that all the way down and then take away the bulk, move the beard out of the way if it's a bigger beard like this, just to make sure I have it nice and lined up. And now we're going to move on to the next side, doing the same thing, going from the bottom of his ear with that 2 guard, going up, and then moving on to the 1 guard, and then the 0 guard, and then no guard on there as well. If you guys are curious, this is the Andes double magnetic guards. So they have a 0 guard, a 1 guard, and a 2 guard. You can see here I went back to my 2 guard just to do a little bit of detail because the transition wasn't smooth. So go through your steps and then come back and follow them up again just to make sure you have a smooth transition. Make sure you use your comb or brushes to move the hairs out of the way as you need. Now for the mustache, his mustache was already pretty short, so I just went over and did a little clip over comb with the wide side of the comb, and then we're just gonna keep the mustache pretty natural, just lining up the lip area just to clean off so it's out of his way. This side it's not a really good angle, but we just flipped over our trimmers and lined up the top of his mustache because that's what he previously did before and he wanted to go ahead and clean up again, keeping it as natural as possible. It was a little bit pushed down this time because of he sometimes grooms himself at home, so we just went ahead and went with the same line that he had. Now we're going to go and line up the beard. Use your opposite thumb to stretch it out nice and tight, keep the blade at a 45-degree angle, and just make a nice natural line going where it's fullest towards his mustache. We are going to go ahead and enhance it after just to get it nice and crispy. Make sure to go over the beard multiple times so that you get a nice crispy line before you enhance it, so when he goes home and washes off, it'll still look nice and crispy. So when it comes to enhancing, you want to make sure the line is lighter than below. A lot of people make the top line really dark and then there's patches that are lighter below it, so it looks like it's sharpied in. So you want to make sure the lower around where his soul patch area is down there, that's darker, and then gets lighter as it gets to the top of the beard, so it has a nice transition and it fades it nicely. Now doing the same thing to the other side. So as you can tell right here, stretching with my opposite hand, and I'm leading with the bottom of the blade, making sure I'm getting a nice sharp line. Trying my best not to push down his beard. It's always better to go as high as possible and then wipe off the line and then reline to see where you could go next. Right here I'm just looking at him face forward to see where the line is ending on the other side, so that could connect it to this side, and that's the best way to get it symmetrical. Have one side, boom, done. Usually typically the side that's lower, because the side that's higher you could always bring down lower to match the lower side. Right here, I'm moving the hair out of the way so I can make sure get under the hair, because that dye does actually stain the skin. It's the Tune 45. Sprayed a little bit of water into his beard because he has a super thick beard, and it was probably all tied up because of the mask. So I sprayed a little bit of water in there just so it's easier to run the comb through there. I'm just trying to get the hair out of position, try to change it up, get it back to its natural state. So I'm going ahead and combing through up and down. Then we're gonna go ahead and blow dry. So right here we're gonna go ahead and blow dry his beard. So I start on one side, brush it all to the opposite side to really, move the hair, get it out of its, messed up state. We want to get it back to as straight as possible. Now once we go to one side, we're gonna go back to the other side, doing the same thing, just combing it through all to one side. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and flip it over, and then we're gonna go up. So now we're going up, really getting that hair as straight as possible. If you have a beard strainer, you could use a beard strainer, but I left it at the shop, so I had to use a blow dryer. And once we blow dry it completely up, we're gonna go ahead and just blow dry it down back to how it would originally look when it's styled and completely done. So right here we're blow drying it down, kind of curling it, make sure the chin area is straight, so when I go to shape it, I can really shape it exactly how I need it. But as you can tell, when I'm blow drying it down, I'm not pushing into his beard, I'm going off of his face, so it keeps it nice and straight, and I'm not tucking the beard in. So when you're combing, comb off of your face, whether it's your own beard or your client's beard. Now we're gonna go shape it up, and what I'm doing here, I'm stepping behind him and I'm just cleaning off all those long hairs that are sticking out. So when you're actually doing it, you could also see the long hairs, so you just want to go behind them and just flatten it off their face, depending on what shape they want. He just wants it nice and tight, so he doesn't want it flaring out. So I'm going from where we did with that 2 with the grain, from there all the way down, getting all those hairs that are sticking up. And as you can see, the face is starting to create structure. Doing the same thing on the back. I wish I kind of turned the camera so you could see, but just doing that all across, make sure I'm getting all those flyaway hairs. From the front, we're only going to take enough to get rid of those thinner areas that have grown out, kind of the split ends. So we're just going through the front, taking enough to take away the split ends, and then we're going to start connecting it to the side that we've been working on. And once we kind of got the shape in place, we're going to go over to the next side, even that up, and then after that we'll take a step back and look at what we need to cut more off, or what needs to be taken off in order to make it look as tight and as symmetrical as possible, but still keeping the length. So this side, since it's my dominant hand, I don't really have to go behind him, so I kind of stand to the side of him and I let the blade be flush on his beard from the top where we did the 2 with the grain, and I just bring that all the way down. Right here I'm just freehanding it with one hand. If you don't have as steady of a hand and you're a little bit nervous, go ahead and take your opposite hand and hold your dominant hand so that you have more control, if you're too afraid to just freehand it. So right here we're connecting that from what you're looking at from that left side to the right side. See right here I'm using 2 hands just to be more secure, so you can do the same thing when you're freehanding. Right here I switched over to my left hand. It's good sometimes to switch hands and use your left hand just to get it more comfortable with it, because you never know, sometimes it's easier just to switch to your left hand because it's just awkward using your dominant hand, whether you're a lefty or a righty. As you can tell, the beard is starting to come together. It's becoming more compact. Right here, I faced him towards the mirror, and I was looking at, you know, what was hanging off, and I noticed there was a little bit more bulkiness on that side, so I went back over it. When it comes to shaping beards, you just gotta be, you know, slow with it, very patient. Take a little hair at a time. Let them check, like, is that good? Do you want me to take more off, or do you want me or does that look good to you? And then you're good to go. So right here, I'm looking at it. You can tell that left side needs a little bit more taken off, so I'm gonna go back through it, match it to the right side. And he keeps the bottom of his neck pretty much all natural. I just take off the little hairs, so I don't go in there and, you know, bring it up, line it up with a trimmer. I just, you know, kind of take off those little hairs, and then that's good. Now you go back over, always go back over with your scissors just to refine the shape, get those flyaways that you can't really get. That's pretty much gonna do with shaping the beard. Super simple. You just gotta connect the dots. So like what we started, blended the beard in. After we blended the beard in, we went ahead and lined it up, got it all nice and tight. You know, enhanced if we need to, and then we started shaping the outside of the beard. Then we went to under the beard and then connected, you know, the outside to the under the beard to get that shape. And then that's about it. Now you can tell the beard's all together. This is how he looked before. Beard all out of whack, curly, not even straight, dipping. Those masks, man, they kill you. And this is how my boy looked after. Oh yeah. Make sure to go ahead and check out the haircut video. Make sure to subscribe, like. I got more content coming for you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.